Hello, this is Van Electric Ghost. This is episode 141, Cage Theory. I'm a little late in talking about the songs on this one. So Cage Theory is the song Cage Dichotomy. And it's kind of a stream of consciousness romp that I did with an OPZ from Teenage Engineering. And it kind of goes off in a weird direction. I'm going to play it for a second. So it's talking about a bird in the hand and a bird in the can, and with a man in the can, and it kind of takes a bunch of ideas of like there's a bird in the cage, there's a bird in the hand, there's a man in the can. It's kind of taking the idea of a cage bird. Why does the cage bird sing? If the cage bird sing, it means like everything. And so it's equating like the man in the can, well, he's like a person in prison is like a bird in a cage. And the person in the bird, the cage that's singing is like, lamenting its situation, and somebody that's in jail is lamenting their situation. So it's talking about like a confluence of a prisoner and equating the bird with the prisoner. And I was able to create a hip hop type of beat, a beat they would normally have in like rap or hip hop with the Teenage Engineering OPZ and the step components, which allow you to do multiple effects on a single step. So we're able to create this really awesome sonic dissonance and have it sound pretty menacing. So I used that capability to create the vibe for this song, and then Josephine is playing with the VT4, pushed up the format on the pitch, and got her voice to be a little disconcerting. It's a little off compared to some of the songs where, you can't always tell what she's saying, but there's a couple lines in here that I think are important. There's the dissonance on the page and the dissonant in the cage. And the old man basically put the dissonant in the cage because he didn't like the words that the dissonant said on the page. So there's a line where it's like the dissonance in the cage because the old man had to rage on the words that were on the page. And I think that's kind of a statement about these times where you have autocrats who are limiting free speech or controlling what people can say about them. You can't call a blatant racist a racist because that's insensitive, but they can call, all Latinos, call them a rapist, or call all people coming over the border or part of MS-13. I mean, these are things that can be said about other people who are downtrodden people or the other people, not part of the mainstream, not part of the power structure. It's okay to denigrate them, but it's not okay to denigrate somebody like Stephen King, not Stephen King, but there's a rep in Rep King that's a blatant racist out there. That's pretty clear that he's a racist, and NBC just said, oh, you can't say that, when it's pretty clear that he's a white supremacist. And if you're a white supremacist, I don't know how you would call that anything but being a racist. So the idea is that cage dichotomy is the different types of cages that people put themselves in. So, and then Sex Behind the Blinds is just another Josephine sex romp. We play a little bit of it. So basically, this song talks about the only religion is that missionary position. The only religion is that friction that you have between two bodies that collide. And Josephine's talking about having sex with the blinds turned down. In this kind of situation, that like her only religion is sex. The only thing that she's into is the missionary position or any other position. But, that kind of friction between people that creates the act of the little death. So that's what that song's about. And then the final song in this set is a song called Needle Vinyl Crossfade. So we're going to play a little bit of that.
Yes, that needle already.
So what's going on in this song, this is not a teenage engineering song. This is us using the Moog DFAM. We have it modulating through a maths module to delay when the DFAM actually plays. Because one of the things about the DFAM is that if you don't use the controlled voltage wiring to control when it's going to play, it's hard to put breaks into a DFAM beat. It tends to just continuously play, and you have to fool around with it and play the filters, and you can change the rhythm, but it doesn't actually stop and start like a typical drum machine unless you actually hit the button. But if you run it through a maths module and you run it through some time settings on the math module from Make Noise that we have in our Eurorack in our 6U, we fed the signal into the maths module, and we were able to create this kind of delay where the drum beat goes and then stops and then goes and stops, and it gets this kind of different type of rhythmic setting that typically you don't get on a DFAM. And so we utilize that with also playing the Roland Juno GI keytar through the effects on the Juno GI has a lot of boss effects built into it, and we actually ran it through a bunch of effects to give it a real guitar feel, and we wrote a riff in real time and played it on the keyboard with the whammy bar or modulating wheel, which we'd been doing for several years, being able to get that kind of sound. And with this song, he's talking about the idea of listening to vinyl and the needle, but it's also kind of hinting at somebody who's a intravenous drug user, and the kind of the dissonance between listening to a needle drop on vinyl and then the needle dropping into a vein, and it's kind of this confluence of drug addiction and music addiction, and listening to music and maybe getting high or being kind of racked up in a stupor in a way. And the crossfade is the kind of in-betweenness of the state of being, either high or not high, or listening to the music or not listening to the music, or getting into it or not getting into it. So that's what this is about. We're not trying to promote drug abuse or anything. We just, make comments about how we think things are going in society, and we use our stream of consciousness music to do this. And we felt that the DFAM, we always go back to the DFAM because we think it's an awesome tool. We use it with the Mother 32. We've been using our Arturia Mini Boot 2S more. We've actually been using our Juno GI to control the keyboard on it, to actually give it a keyboard. So because any of these modular synths can be connected to a MIDI keyboard, and then you can play them like a Model D. We like using the Juno GI to connect to the Mother 32 and the Arturia Mini Boot 2S to actually play those sounds. We're very excited to learn about the Korg Minilog XD, because now we were in the frame of mind to get a Moog Grandmother, which we still think is, but there's kind of a big debate between these two machines. But there's a couple of things going on. The Grandmother is, paraphonic, where you can get it to play sounds in maybe 2 notes, maybe even up to 3 notes. But the Korg Minilog XD is a combination of the Minilog, the Monolog, and the Prolog. And it's got the third oscillator, which is this complex oscillator from the Prolog, which can have customized like wavetables, which I think there's a tool for doing that. And then there's the ability that it's polyphonic in 4 voices, which the Moog is not. And then it's got digital effects that you can apply in 2 analog oscillators to make it, if you want to have really heavy polyphonic sounds for only $600, it's a good option. The Grandmother still has a different type of vibe. If you're looking for that classic Moog sound from the early 60s, early 70s, there's nothing like the Grandmother. If you're trying to do polyphonic analog music, there's not that many analog synthesizers that are polyphonic for $600. Most of the polyphonic synthesizers you'll find are going to cost you at least $1,500 or more. So that's a really good entry level to get a polyphonic analog synth, and something I've always wanted to have. The Roland System 8 can pretty much emulate an analog synth, but it's not exactly an analog synth. This is a pure analog synth, and it's got a really good package, a really cool polyphonic sequencer. It's got the oscilloscope, it's got the overdrive, it's got the digital effects, it's got a lot of cool features. And for the money, we're kind of swinging on a couple of things. We are very interested in the performance aspects of a Roland guitar, like the Roland Axe Edge, and we were thinking about doing a show in New York City that's typically an acoustic show. And if you had a Roland Axe Edge guitar, you could actually load the USB stick with a song written on an OPZ, and then overdub it with lead guitar parts or piano parts with the guitar. If you needed to play the guitar as a full piano, you could have it strapped on and just bring a stand, put it on the stand, play it in the key as a piano mode, and then still have the strap and then jump onto it and do a solo. So it's a pretty good all-in-one device. If you had to get into a small space where you couldn't have your stack, you could have a lot of things on the USB card where you could actually play with stuff that you pre-programmed and then dub or play over it. And so that's a really good option. But the Minilog XD is very small as well to give you a good performance option. You could do some of the same things by bringing the OPZ in and playing it through the MIDI capability. But the MIDI module for the OPZ is not ready yet. And so the option of putting the sound wave or wave file onto a USB would be something you could do right now. Because Teenage Engineering is kind of famous for taking a long time to get some of that together. So looking at heavily trying to figure out which one I would get. I really like the Korg. I've never had a Korg product other than I did have a sequencer back in the day when I had a D5. Back in the 90s, I had a D5. Well, actually early 80s. Like in 1987, 88, I had a Roland D5, which was a lighter version of a D50. And it had a linear digital synthesis, which was really cool, but not as heavy as the D50, but it was pretty good. I used to use a Korg sequencer that had a proprietary disk system, like a hard disk system that you could save sequences onto these hard disks. And then I would run sequences on the D5, which was multi-trimble, and you could do all kinds of programming. So that was my first Korg machine ever. I've never had any other Korgs. So this will be a cool thing. I was very interested in the Prologue, but $1,500 is a lot of money, and $623 is a good price. So once I'm finished paying my OPZ, I'm thinking the Minilog XD looks like a really good buy, and the grandmother is something we're looking for. I want to see what Moog comes out with this year, because again, at Moog Fest, we're trying to see if they're actually going to put out the Moog Subharmonicon, which we are hoping they will. But I've heard it has issues with being in tune, but that's not a big issue for me because I would use it for its capabilities and awesome subharmonic sequencing on square waves. But we'll see what's going to come out this year. But right now, when they're running this Korg, will be my first Korg product. It looks like a really good value because it's a mixture of all their best analog synths kind of built into one. Has a lot of presets, has a sequencer, a polyphonic sequencer. I don't think you can get a polyphonic synth unless Roland gets on the job and does something that makes like a smaller System 8 or something, or a bigger System 8. We'll see what Roland's going to come out with this year. I do love the Roland Axe Edge. I think that is something I'm going to be getting as well when we have to do performances this year. But this is just an update of what we've got going on. Once again, we have our new album on all the streaming services. Is out there for everybody to listen to. It's a big effort that we've been putting together for a while, and we're happy that we got this out there. It's Wretched Symphony number 8. It's on all the streaming services: Tidal, Apple Music, Spotify, and you can listen to it right now. We do have a CD coming, The Flower That Blooms at Midnight in the Tomb, and we do have on Digger's Factory Records a 2 vinyl album. So this year is a big year for actually getting physical content from the ghost, we do have our first vinyl, which is The Flower That Blooms at Midnight in the Tomb at Digger's Factory Records. You can pre-order that now, $24 plus shipping. It's directly shipped from Digger's factory, and they're a viable company. You go check them out. They produce limited edition vinyl. There's 196 copies of this album. Only going to be 196 on vinyl, and then eventually we'll put it on CD, but it's only going to be on vinyl at this time. Then Dark Ghost, The Flower That Blooms at Midnight in the Tomb is going to be on Amazon.com CD. And we're also going to have it on all the streaming services. And you can listen right now to Ratchet Symphony number 8. And then Dark Ghost Volume 2, we're thinking of maybe doing a Bandcamp album there. Or do a CD Baby release. We're trying to figure out which one we're going to do. So we're looking at that. But that's the one that's going to have Sonic Twin and the title track to Dark Ghost, Souls Never to Move Toward. Which originally were all going to be on one record, but it was like a 3-hour record, so we couldn't do it. So we started splitting it out into multiple records. It's actually really like a 5-hour project in total. So there are going to be a bunch of different versions of this record, of the Dark Ghost series. But we thank everyone for being with us. Check out our sponsor, CINPALS. They're doing a contest. You can see it. You can win $500. You also can check out our sponsor, theinfatuation.com. When you need to check out a place to eat, check them out. They've got a telephone number. It's in the ad that will be on this episode. Thank you for everybody for listening to us. If you want to be a supporter of the Ghost, please sign up. And also, if you want to be a big supporter, go to our Digger's Factory Records link and buy the album, or buy our records on Amazon and all the streaming services. Do the downloads. We get paid more money if you download. So it'd be cool if you do the downloads, or you stream, however you want to do it. That'll be great. Thank you.
Bird in the hand, a man in the camp, and you're gonna stand for that man. A bird in the hand, you got plan. A bird in the hand, you can do it in a can. Ooh. Bird in the hand, you're a stand. Oh boy, you're gonna be a woman or a man. Put the bird in the hand, understand. In the cage and you do it like you can. A bird in the hand, do it in the cage like you do it when you stand. Yeah. Those wings will fly over everything. I gotta feel I gotta give my heart. You're gonna have to just tear me apart. Don't put it in the hand, understand. Or you're gonna be a woman and a man. Put them in the hand. Good stand, you'll fly high in the sky. Yeah. Now you don't know what I'm talking about. I'm flying over your house. But I'm gonna get you in bed. You're not even gonna know that I'm doing it under. But understand. Just think got a woman, just got a man. She go for the air. I can't get into your soul, and that's where you're hold your hand. You're floating away, that's everywhere. Fly over your sound tonight. Fly over you, while you get alright. You don't have to understand. You don't have to be a woman. Holding a bird in the cage, and the bird on the hand, and the bird with a reason. Going on that, and you just can't tell. And what you're under that smell. And then the bird in the cage, and the bird on the hand, and understand that you're the one on the map. Josephine, do you alright? You've been in the cage all night. Yeah, yeah. A distance rage, it's a distant page. You're a dissident cage. You're rage. If you're distant and rage, distant and page, distant and page. Distant in the pain, distant in pain, and distance on the page. Distant in the cage, and you're not okay. You're distant in the cage, and the distance on the page. Sound all the rage, and the bird in the cage, holding the bird in the hand, and you don't understand. You could be a woman, you could be a man. Ooh, I'm flying over your town. You're not ready to go down. Tell the bird in the cage, bird on the rage, you're distant cage. Don't bird, I want a cage, but sings. Instead, she sings what she means. You should know, it means everything. It means everything. It means everything. The bird in the cage sings. It means everything. And the distance in the cage, it's burned on the page. But that tight rage. So the bird in the cage, there's that distance in the cage. But that old man didn't like what he wrote on the page. Oh, the distance in the cage, the bird waving. Cause that old man didn't like what was on the written page. Distance in a cage. The mailman's afraid cause he didn't like words on a page. The only religion You only let should be a picture. Only picture. Bring my hands and I've been waiting and I see that work in your eyes. Touch something. Oh, Josephine, and I was screaming. I'm do it quick. I'm do it quick. You will be in that with me. Only religion is rich. Only religion is rich. Only religion is that rich. Only religion is rich. Only religion is that rich. Come again. But only rich is that rich. And only religion is that rich. Come, and we are one. Wait out, until they have burst all of you burst. Can't hold alone. Can't hold alone. Can't do it alone. Come.
This is Fam Electric Ghost, and our supporter, CINPALS, is having a promotional contest where you can win $500. You just have to call them at 786-562-7601. If you call them at 786-562-7601. You can also email CINPALS at cinpalsinfo@gmail.com. cinpalsinfo@gmail.com. Their website is www.cinpals.com. Again, CINPals, a new type of social network, is having a promotional contest, and you can win $500. Check out CINPals at www.cinpals.com or call them at 786-562-7601. That's 786-562-7601. Email again is cinpalsinfo@gmail.com. CINPalsinfo@gmail.com. Thank you.
Yes, I need all rings. Listen to the vinyl, cause on the page. I guess that needles all rings. Listen to that vinyl on the cross page. Listen to that vinyl on the cross page. Going from fade to fade. Going from hate to fade. And just another beat. If that needle has a place on the vinyl in the cross page. That needle got a place on the vinyl on the cross page. Going from fade to fade. Going from love to hate. Going from an empty space to a cross page. You know you gotta be fade. You're gonna feel that hate. It's just sound waves. Like you can't feel it get down to your brain. Going from fade to fade. When a needle drops, gonna feel it in life. When the needle drops, you're gonna drink every drop. Feel it on the final cross. They didn't get a taste. Get a taste of that fade. Get a taste of that hate. Punk it all night. Punk it real life. Yeah, punk it all night. Punk it for you dear life. Catch the light. That last spark and dead eye. Feel that final crossfade. That needle gonna drop. You're gonna get a taste. Punk it life. Punk it fade. Punk it the crossfade. It's gonna drop. You're gonna feel the hate. Gonna feel it all. Ain't no fade. Gonna feel that hate. The crossfade. There ain't no debate. That was the way. Ain't no way. Gonna feel this little girl start to fade. I'm an analog girl all the way. It's going down. If she don't know how to hold her sound. That digital, she's been around. She don't know how to hold her sound. Needle drops. You're gonna feel lot. Feel it, what not. This road can't hold her sound. Star in the alleyway, she can't hold it all. That's why she's not down. She can't hold it all, that's why she's not down.